Today, let's look at transistor.fm in detail. I'll review the platform for you, walk you through its important features, and give you an overview of how it's like to sign up on the platform. Let's get started. So I'm going to sign up for this platform. As you can see, you will need to enter your card details on the platform to sign up. So it's very easy to import your podcasts here. If you have it already, you can just put your feeds link from Apple Podcast. You can configure a private podcast. You can even create your podcast website. I want to start with a new podcast here, so let's do that. You can add your podcast artwork, and once all of this is done, you can choose your category, choose the author. You can maybe choose some relevant keywords, copyright your podcast, add your website. You need to also add your email, create your show button to start your show. So as you can see, I signed up for Transistor. If you are done recording, you can just enter its title, upload the audio file. From here, maybe I'll upload an audio file on types of freelance writing jobs. Yeah, so our show can be both about freelance writing and about how to podcast. You can enter all of the details here. If there's any optional episode artwork, then you can do that. Share a episode transcript if you want to. And then once all is ready, just publish the podcast. The distribution of your podcast, you have a dedicated RSS feed here. You get a checklist. So once you publish a podcast, then you can start distributing it here. From the episodes column, you can upload your podcasts. Your achievements, your podcast badges will appear here. Your analytics, once you have put out your podcast, and your approximate listener numbers, your episode by episode breakdown, the various podcast players that your listeners are using, and your global listener locations will all appear here. You can add more members to your team. So all of this, as you can see, the interface is really sleek. It's simple. You can add more team members if you like. You can add them as members or administrators for your show. You can even add people who are involved as the guests, editors, and likewise for your show here. This people profiles is like another new feature by Transistor. You can add your new hosts, guests, editors, and the like. Like say, suppose if you interviewed someone, then you can add them right here as say the designer. Maybe I want to give credits to my designer, and you can create this person. You can even make them a default. You can add their picture as well here. And there's an option to add your social media links right here. You can add your contact email and all of the other details from here. If you want to add your Google Analytics ID or your Fathom Analytics ID, you can do that here as well to track the views of embeddable players in social sharing pages. It also integrates directly with Drip, HubSpot, MailChimp, ConvertKit, and a bunch of other newsletter platforms. It could be really nice to have a newsletter for your podcasting audience, and you can sign in with Twitter, enable auto tweeting there, maybe even YouTube auto posting. If you start on the professional plan or outwards, and even use Zapier to integrate with more platforms. Here's the option to customize your podcast website. You can choose your name. You can choose from these few languages. Maybe I can put it as elite content marketer. Choose from a few examples here. Choose from a few themes, templates to design your website. The podcast website builder is relatively new, but you can add a few pages and it would be really nice for your website to show up in Google search results. Again, there are a bunch of options here. You can choose a favicon, a website logo, a social sharing image. You can add your pages and links. You can create various pages for your website here. You can title it as about page, your home page. Just give it a decent heading. It's really plug and play. It's simple. You can just create page. If I can say, I'm Chintan. I love to help podcasters. This could be and writers. This could be one of the pages. And if you want a custom domain URL, a branded URL, you can also do that. So if I want to shift it to say something like, then you can try doing that as well. So you can even customize your website URL if you want to keep it branded. You'll have to set up your DNS from your domain registrar, and there are instructions laid down here that you can follow. It's really nice to have this customization so that you can brand your podcast as well. And finally, if you want to access your settings, the podcasting info that you had initially put out, then you can do that here. If I want to host another podcast, then I can just go to my shows and add a new show. Maybe I want to create a private podcast now. So for creating a private podcast, you can again just enter the title of the podcast, a short description, another artwork. I'm just going to do the basics for you right now, but I just want to show you around the platform. There's nothing else to this. It's very simple. It's very similar. You can add password protection for your feed here. You can use the private podcast option after you add your description and these details. Add a password so that you can password protect your private podcast, and there you have it. Here's your private podcast show also launched. So it's really cool to have multiple podcasts under one platform, and you can have them just using one Transistor account. As soon as you publish your show, will start appearing right here, and you get the option to then distribute it across various podcasts. You can just click on the submit button. As I told you, it will be a simple process. You just have to click on all of these to submit it to various podcast hosting directories and even search directories such as Podcast Index and Podchaser and Listen Notes. It's really cool to have this option. Once you publish a podcast, you will have the option to submit to distribute your podcast to these various platforms. So sign up for transistor.fm. You will get a 15-day free trial using my affiliate link that will appear right here. Thank you and all the best for your podcasting journey. Bye-bye.